Now on Fast Track News, Purdue had its first taste of snowfall earlier this week.
Plus, opportunities to host a Boilermaker this Thanksgiving.
And the last play of the semester for Purdue Theater. All your campus news, weather, and sports is straight ahead. Fast Track is back. Happy Friday, Boilermakers. I'm Matthew Camfield.
And I'm Sophie McLaughlin. It's November 14th. Here's a look at your campus news for the week. First, a brisk change in weather as Purdue experienced its first snowfall of the semester. Reporter Lydia Deniston has the story.
Has winter really come early? Well, for Purdue students, it sure felt that way with the sudden drop of temperatures and the snowfall over the weekend. I'm here on the heart of campus where I spoke to several students about their reactions. Last weekend, temperatures plunged into the 20s, several degrees below average for early November. The quick change left windshields icy and students bundled up on their way to class. For some, the early snow was a surprise, while for others, preparation was already underway. Because of the weirdly long, warm summer we had, I kind of was telling people that something odd is going to happen, and by that I mean it might just get really cold really quickly. I actually told all my friends that the fact that first snow will be beginning of November, and I was right. So some students even expressed their excitement about a potential snowy winter.
And when I got here, there was snow on the ground, so I was really excited because I'm excited for winter. I like the snow.
But according to meteorologists, this kind of early cold snap isn't as unusual as it might seem.
These random releases of a bowling ball of cold, that's the winter. You get this easterly QBO, the polar vortex is a little looser, so it can just drop a cold wave, close back up, drop a cold wave. We'll probably have about 2 or 3, I would think, polar vortex type events. You could argue this was one.
Whether we can expect warmer temps or more snow to come, it's clear that winter has made its first mark on campus. I'm Lydia Deniston reporting for Fast Track News.
Starting this past week with snow, let's take a look at how this next week will feel.
Meteorologist Ellie Jones is here with a first look at the forecast.
Hello Boilermakers and happy Friday. I hope you've all been staying warm the past few days, recovering from that snowfall we got earlier this week. And I know kind of the question on everyone's mind is, what is today and the rest of this weekend going to look like? Well, focusing on today, we're going to see the highs around 65, and as you can see, so this low of about 32 to 38 was happening this morning, coming into today. And then it's been mostly clear, mostly sunny this morning, and we're even gonna get a little bit warmer falling into tonight as well, with the lows for tonight being around 50. So overall, a much warmer day today, and like you can see, the highs are gonna be hitting kind of around 3 p.m. So that's why you're not seeing the 63 kind of on this map right here. But it'll be a much warmer day, so go out, enjoy some sunshine, and have a nice day. Hope you're all recovering from all that snow and cold we had this week.
The Purdue International Students and Scholars are asking for participants in Host a Boiler for 2025. This program provides the opportunity for international students who may not be able to travel home for Thanksgiving or winter break to be hosted for a meal or other activity by someone in the community. This is a one-time meetup for a holiday event or meal. Today is the last day to sign up. Anyone who lives near campus can sign up to host or be hosted through the QR code on the screen or through the Purdue International Students and Scholars webpage. Immigration counselor Leah Bechtold says that this is a great way for students to spend the holidays with a family, even if they can't be with their own.
Almost every year, I have countless stories of students who just enjoy their time so much with the Host a Boiler. It's just so worth it to make those connections with people. And you may not think that they like your traditions or family, habits. But honestly, that's like one of the best experiences of getting to study in another country is to get involved in someone's life, like the real life. And so if someone's afraid of doing it, nervous about it, I would encourage them that it's lasting memories and impactful relationships that, not just cross time, but also cross different cultures and backgrounds, which is pretty amazing.
If you need some entertainment or just a fun activity, this weekend or next weekend, the Department of Theater and Dance is presenting its final play of the semester, The Snow. The Snow follows a child named Theodore in his journey to figure out what an epic snowfall has imprisoned their small village. This play is a grand adventure and is suitable for all ages. Opening night is tonight with the snow starting at 7:30. It runs this weekend and next weekend. More times and tickets are available online at the Purdue Ticket Box Office or with the QR code on the screen.
Two Purdue alumni, Bruce White and Beth White, are helping grow their family's bourbon distillery into a regional business. After graduating, they returned home to modernize production, expand distribution, and build a stronger brand. They say the problem-solving and teamwork they learned at Purdue now guide everything from sourcing local grain to developing new bourbon releases. What began as a family tradition is becoming a fast-growing Indiana enterprise.
Up next, the behind the scenes of Wiley Hall's Grilled Cheese Night.
And still to come, Purdue's Renewable Energy Kickoff event. We'll be right back after this short break.
I love U Choir because it's what gave me a home on campus. I didn't know anyone, but nowhere made me feel as welcomed and loved as the moment I walked into this room and stood on those risers.
Contact improv because it gives me a space to come in and reset my mental capacity. Like I always leave, like even though I'm tired, mentally I feel much freer.
I love contact improv because A, I get to meet new people, and B, it makes you feel so good after.
Welcome back, Boilermakers.
If you are in need of dinner plans tonight, look no further.
Wiley Hall is hosting its semester grilled cheese night. Jared White has the story.
This Friday from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., hundreds of students will line up right here outside Wiley Hall. What's the big event? Free grilled cheese sandwiches for anyone who shows up.
It's called Wiley Grilled Cheese Night. Nick Royer, one of Wiley Hall's RAs, came up with the idea.
Pretty much the whole premise is we just give out free grilled cheese and tomato soup to students of Purdue and really anybody who wants to come here.
This will be the second iteration of the event. Last semester, Royer noticed that Wiley's prime location on campus wasn't being used to its full potential.
We weren't having huge event turnout, and I was like, I want to do something that brings a ton of people to Wiley.
The first Wiley Grilled Cheese Night took place in February. It was a huge success, but this semester, Royer is aiming even higher.
Last semester we had about 850 people come, so we're aiming to up it this year to about 1,500.
The increased turnout will come as a result of Royer's advertising. He and the other RAs hang up funny flyers and post on social media, but their most successful medium is sidewalk chalk.
People are always going to look at it when they're walking along. Even if they have their face down looking at their phone, they're going to see the chalk. So far, I've gone through about 28 sticks of chalk, and I'm probably going to do about double that in terms of total chalk advertising.
The funding for Grilled Cheese Night comes from the RA's collective event planning budget. Royer says it only costs about 30 cents per person, but serving food to over 1,000 people doesn't come without its challenges.
The electrical grid here is not the best, and we tripped a few breakers with the griddles we used, so this year had to make a bit of a better plan so that wouldn't happen again this year.
Royer is graduating this spring, but he hopes Grilled Cheese Night doesn't leave with him.
Hopefully some of the younger RAs will continue as a tradition at Wiley, and I'd definitely like to see it go every semester.
If you want a free grilled cheese sandwich, come to Wiley Hall at 10 p.m. on Friday, but be prepared to wait in line. Reporting for Fast Track News, I'm Jared White.
Purdue's Institute for a Sustainable Future is kicking off its new renewable energy team this Monday in MRGN 206. Faculty, students, and researchers will gather from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. to explore opportunities across the renewable energy spectrum, including solar, wind, and next-generation energy storage. The event will also highlight research projects planned for fiscal year 2026, marking an exciting step forward for sustainability at Purdue.
And coming up, we'll take a closer look at how the weather is shaping up for this weekend, and we'll let you know if we're going to remain in the cold or if we're going to warm up a bit. We'll be right back.
I'm Vina, a keyboard.
Hi, this is Dean, the guitarist.
Hi, I'm Bob. I play bass guitar.
So the answer to that previous question we had is that yes, we will be warming up a little bit. So as you saw, today is looking to be pretty nice. We've got the high of 65, lowers of 50 later tonight, and then throughout the weekend, we are going to continuously fall in temperature just a little bit, but we'll still remain pretty warm with just some colder nights. With Saturday, each night goes down just about looks like 5 degrees each time. Saturday high of 60, low of 42. Sunday high of 54, excuse me, and a low of 30. And then kind of as we move on to the 7-day outlook, again, we've got this weekend looking pretty nice. Today and the weekend will be mainly sunny with a little cloud coverage here and there, but with Sunday hopefully being really nice and bright, so make sure you go out and enjoy that sunshine. And then when we move on to next week, we're going to see that we're going to start seeing some showers. Now, Monday and Tuesday, both with a high of 50. Tuesday cooling down a little bit that night. And on those days, we've only got about a 20% chance of rain. So, may not happen, maybe it will. We'll learn a little bit more about that when it gets closer to that time. And then it's predicted that Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to see some more morning showers. And then Thursday, at the moment, is looking like it will bring a decent amount of showers. And it's going to be nice and cool that day as well. Make sure you have your raincoat, umbrella. Just make sure you're staying warm for that day.
Just ahead, Purdue men's basketball continues to build momentum after another strong week. Trey Kaufman-Wren shares how the team's success starts with their bond, a group that truly feels like a family.
Plus, Purdue volleyball keeps the winning streak alive. They keep pushing to climb the rankings as postseason is coming up soon. I'm Alex Custer.
And I'm Sam Shakuri. Don't go away.
Because sports is next. When you step inside Mackey Arena, you don't just hear the crowd, you feel it. Purdue basketball thrives on passion, pride, and a culture built off of family on and off the court. Fast Track Sports reporter Molly Moriarty has a story.
There's something special about Purdue basketball, a blend of grit, family, and relentless energy that is felt every time the Boilermakers take the court at Mackey Arena.
It's actually the reason I came to Purdue, or one of the biggest reasons. Like when I took a visit at Purdue and my mom and I came and saw how the fans interacted after a player dove on a loose ball or somebody got a crazy rebound, watching the paint crew jump for joy, it was really exciting.
Purdue fans are known across the country for their passion, the paint crew, a force that fuels the team every time they step on the hardwood.
I mean, it contributes to winning, really. I mean, I think Coach Paint I read a statistic, he had like a 97% win percentage in Mackey, and so I think the stats kind of speak for themselves. When teams play at Purdue, like I have friends that go to Indiana, play at Indiana, play at Illinois, play at other schools, and they always say Mackey's the hardest place to play.
But it's not only the fans that make Purdue basketball special. It's the bond between players. The Purdue family extends beyond the game itself.
We hang out with each other outside of basketball, and so it's just people checking up on each other.
For Trey Kaufman-Wren, that culture has shaped not just his play on the court, but who he's become as a leader. With the season heating up, one thing is for sure, the Boilermakers' bond is just as strong as their play on the court. That chemistry built through long practices and shared goals continues to define what it means to wear Purdue across the chest. And whether it's a win at Mackey or grind on the road, That culture of family and fight is what keeps this team together.
Here at Mackey Arena, the noise is deafening, but that's not what makes Purdue basketball truly special. It's the culture of hard work, pride, and family that brings this team together beyond the walls. In West Lafayette, for Fast Track News, I'm Molly Moriarty with Zoe Cuneo.
This past Friday, Purdue volleyball faced number 25 Penn State at Holloway Gymnasium, defeating them in a quick sweep. The win lifts Purdue to 12-2 in Big Ten play. The Boilermakers were going head-to-head with the Nittany Lions in the first set and took the lead after a kill from Grace Heaney, assisted by Taylor Anderson. The Boilers finished the first set 25-20, paving the way to their victory. After the heat from the first set, Purdue kept their fire and quickly struck first in the second. The Boilermakers continued building their lead, taking the second set with ease after a kill from Kenna Woolard. In the third set, the Boilers struggled behind the Nittany Lions before standing shoulder to shoulder. That set, a close call, Purdue finished off Penn State, taking the win at home.
I think we're all really prepared, and we really just wanted to get another sweep. We've had 3 5-set matches in a row, so we are really excited that we did the work hard and we got it out in a sweep.
The Boilermakers will face Maryland tonight at Holloway Gymnasium for their Hammer Down Cancer game at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Purdue Wrestling opened its season strong at the Tiger-Style Invite in Columbia, Missouri. The 23rd ranked Boilermakers finished 4th overall with 10 place winners, including 2 gold medalists. At 157 pounds, Stony Buell went undefeated at 4-0, capturing the title with an 11-6 decision over number 14, Cale Swenson of South Dakota State. At 174, Brody Bauman stayed perfect on the year, winning 3 straight bouts to claim Purdue's second gold. And freshman Isaiah Schaefer made an impressive collegiate debut, taking silver after upsetting number 25, Cade Moore from Missouri. Cole Solomon, Grayson Clark, and Gavin Brown also landed on the podium to cap a strong start. Purdue now returns home for the Boilermaker duels Saturday, Lambert Fieldhouse facing Buffalo, Northern Illinois, and American.
The Odom-led Boiler football team faced its toughest test yet in the form of the Buckeyes. Up next, we'll break down the key moments that defined the game and what this performance says about where the Boilermakers stand this season and to come. Reporter Quinn Lennon has the story.
This past Saturday, Purdue football hosted the Ohio State Buckeyes right here at Ross-Age Stadium for the two schools' 24th all-time clash. However, the two teams have very different season outlooks, with the Buckeyes being fresh off a national championship appearance and starting 8-0 and being number 1 in the country. Purdue, on the other hand, is in the midst of a lengthy Big Ten losing streak spanning back to last season and hope to stem the tide going into the end of this season. The series has had highs and lows for each team, with the most famous meeting being 7 years ago in 2018. That was when the heavily favored Buckeyes were routed by an upset-minded Purdue in a game dubbed the Tyler Trent game, named after the Purdue student that the team and community rallied behind due to his unflinching determination and support despite his health. This game is perhaps the greatest in Purdue's recent history, and every game versus Ohio State since has always harkened back to that magical game. After one defensive stop on each end for each team, Purdue got on the board first with the Spencer Porth field goal, which gave the Boilermakers a 3-0 lead heading into the second quarter. That was where the positives for the Boilermakers ended in the first half, however, as they proceeded to let up scores on the next 4 Buckeyes possessions in the second quarter, leading to a halftime score of 24-3. The second half would start much more promising, however, with senior defensive lineman C.J. Nunnally IV recording a drive-killing interception in the end zone, the first in his college career. However, the offense continued to struggle, being unable to capitalize on the good defensive play. Purdue's defense remained stout with a scoreless third quarter and red zone stop to force a field goal early in the fourth. A final touchdown late for both teams led to the final score of 34-10. The lone touchdown of the day was scored by freshman quarterback Malachi Singleton, linking up with fellow freshman receiver Justin Watson. Purdue fans were not deterred by the loss, however, as the students continued to cheer for the team until the very end. Despite the lopsided score, this was the lowest total score for the Buckeyes since the aforementioned Tyler Trent game in 2018. So while the final score wasn't super encouraging, there is some cause for cautious optimism going forward with Coach Odom. Purdue heads to Washington to face off against the Huskies tomorrow night at 7 p.m. before heading back here for a bye. The next week, Purdue will face off against heated rival and number 2 ranked Indiana University in the battle for the Oaken Bucket on November 28th. The team certainly hopes that these games can end their conference woes. For Fast Track Sports, I'm Quinn Lennon.
This past Thursday, the Purdue women's basketball team secured another win in their season against Eastern Illinois, where they won 82-67. However, they suffered their first loss on Wednesday against Purdue Fort Wayne in a close match with a final score of 67-68. Additionally, it was announced that Ela Karsh is this week's Big Ten Co-Freshman of the Week. After her first 2 games of her college career, she has an average of 18 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, an average of 71.4% of her three-pointers scored, and an average of 68.4% of her field goals scored as well. This freshman is certainly starting to make a name for herself this season.
The men's tennis team participated in the ITA South Sectionals on Monday, where Noor Fatala closed the Constellation Finals session out with a singles victory. After Fatala fell in a draw in the round of 32, he faced 3 opponents in the consolation rounds against Cooper Johan from Georgia, Braden Hong from South Alabama, and ultimately he defeated Derek Chen in the consolation finals, who's also from Georgia. Most of Purdue tennis will wrap up the ITA sectionals, but Alexa Kravakopic and Maj Premzel will continue to play after they won the ITA Great Lakes Region Doubles title for a bid to the NCAA Doubles Championship. The two will play in the tournament, which will run from Tuesday, November 18th until Sunday, November 23rd in Lake Nona.
The Purdue women's tennis team wrapped up their fall season last weekend in Nashville, Tennessee, competing at the June Stewart Invitational hosted by Vanderbilt. Day 1 of singles play saw Ashley Wilson lead the way. She dominated her match, dropping just 1 point to secure the Boilers' lone singles win. In doubles action, Wilson teamed up with Cale Gounder for a strong victory over Kentucky. On day 2, Purdue faced tough competition, falling in their only doubles match. In singles, the team finished 1-3 on the day, with Sofia Devas claiming the win. On the final day, Boilers couldn't find a doubles win, but both Devas and Catherine Wilson closed out the weekend with impressive singles victories. That makes the end of the fall slate for Purdue women's tennis. The team will be back in action this January for the start of the spring season. Good luck to the Boilers as they prepare for 2026.
This past weekend, the Purdue women's swim and dive team hosted the Iowa Hawkeyes right here in West Lafayette. The Hawkeyes performed well, but the Boilermakers came away with a 190-109 victory in this dual meet. Caitlin Hurley, Abby Marchikaitis, and Reagan Mattis all swept their individual events. In team events, Avery Warble and Darren Wright swept up the wins in springboard diving events. This marked the second weekend in a row this duo had swept those events. The Boilers will be off until they travel to Columbus, Ohio to compete in the Ohio State Invitational from November 18th till November 21st.
And that's a wrap for sports.
But stay tuned, because Fast Track will be right back after this quick timeout.
The student section for Purdue women's basketball. Be there.
Now it's time for the question of the week. With the end of the semester rapidly approaching, finals are just around the corner.
How are students preparing for the stress of finals?
Well, I think one thing I'm doing is just spending some quality time with people. I think people are what's most important to me. It brings a lot of life and energy.
Creating flashcards and then kind of like going back on my notes and going over like revision questions, homeworks, assignments, and then a lot of practice questions that the professors have already given.
I'm just doing a lot of self-care, taking time for myself, and surrounding myself with people who make me feel calm and ready for that stress as well.
Honestly, just trying to sleep as much as I can, making sure that I have time to spend with family and friends, and really just trying to get ahead of the studying so it's easier in the end.
So here you can kind of see our radar showing some of these showers creeping in kind of at the start of next week. Now most of it is coming up north and then almost disappearing kind of by the time it hits Indiana, which is why we're only seeing that 20% chance of rain. And now I know the question that's on everyone's mind, will the snow be back anytime soon? And the answer doesn't look like it. Some I have a little frowny face up here because for some people that's a bad thing, but I know other people are going to be just as happy that we're not going to be seeing some snow for a little while. But overall, the main thing is just be prepared for some fluctuation. This weekend is pretty different than the start of our week, and we are going to eventually cool back down a bit. So just make sure when you go out, you're staying safe, checking your local weather stations, and on Fridays checking with us to see how many layers you may need. Now, because of the cold and kind of these fluctuations, sickness is going around, so just make sure when you're going out, you're staying safe and being on the lookout.
That's all for your campus news this week.
Tune back in to Fast Track next week for more. Have a great weekend, Boilermakers.